So, hi, I'm Rachele Eisenberger and Sarah's sister, and I am deaf in both ears. 0% deafness, like literally cannot hear a single thing. You could be screaming on top of your lungs. It could be a volume level that can hear type, like super loud. I will not hear it, but I can feel vibration. So like, let's say someone like launched a bomb somewhere and it exploded, I could probably feel it. I wouldn't hear it though.
Maybe a little more, less extreme example.
Right. So,
What happened?
so this is the story. There's no story per se. I was actually born this way, which in hindsight, I think is amazing. And I'm very grateful to have been born this way. Some people get sick and then they develop hearing loss over time. And for them, it's much harder to then cope with hearing loss because they were so used to hearing and then they don't hear anymore. And then when they did, it sounds different. And for them, it's a little bit harder. So for me, I was born this way. And at the time, I was the youngest of my time to get implanted. I was 6 months old. At that point, it was only kids who were older, and I was the youngest at the time. So when that happens, I guess, I don't know if you mentioned in the mental psych, when kids are born in the hospital, and each one of you are born, they do this test. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's just a hearing test. It's just a regular hearing test.
I think so.
Okay. So when a baby is born, they do this test just to check for certain things. And one of the things they do, I guess, is the hearing test. And obviously I failed that test and you're like, okay, your child is hearing impaired. What do you want to do about it? Not sure if Sarah has mentioned, but my brother is also hearing impaired. He has cochlear implants on both sides. I have one, but actually I'm just doing well with one. I don't really think I need two. That's a conversation for another time. But because he was older than me and they already dealt with it once, they're like, okay, we're also going to implant Rachele. So what then happens is, just so you saw from the video, I'll probably explain it in a little bit more simpler terms if you didn't understand what was going on. How it works is that I should have worn it on the outside, but I actually have props. So technology has developed over the last few years. I'm sure you saw with iPhones, iPhone 1 versus iPhone 17, it looks drastically different. Same for cochlear implants. I'm pulling this crazy thing out of this bag here. So this was the first one I ever had.
Yeah,
this is what it looks like. This is what powered everything. Literally everything. The batteries sit in this teeny tiny compartment. And the rest of this was literally the energy source of what makes me hear. So how it works is like this. They have a inner part of this section right here that they'll cut a small, if anyone's grossed out, you can cover your ears. It's not that gross. What they'll do is they'll cut a sliver behind.
I showed them what it looked like last year.
Oh, yeah.
Thing.
Okay.
They do the surgery.
Right. So they do a small incision right behind the ear. Also, nowadays, it's in and out one day. When I was getting implanted, it's like a 3-day thing. You get your surgery, they keep you in the hospital. Now it's in and out. That's it, super fast. So what they do is they have an internal part like this, and they'll take this, slip it right above the ear right here. It's right here. You can sort of see it.
Where the cochlea is?
Oh, that's the
This is the part that transmits the data to the brain.
Right.
Because the cochlear implant works with the brain. And it works with the ear and the brain, which is really interesting. So they'll have the transmitter that sits right above here that connects to the part of the brain that deals with hearing. And then they'll take this wire-ish part. This is just the external piece, but it kind of looks like this inside. And they'll thread it through the cochlea. Now, reason for my deafness is like this. Basically, the cochlea has these little nerve hair cells in it. And for someone who has a regular hearing aid, they just pop it in for whatever they need, their nerve cells work-ish. And then what the hearing aid does, it just amplifies the sound to make it better. For me, those nerve cells do not work at all. So what the cochlear implant does is they thread it through the cochlea, and then electrically, it works with the brain, and I can hear. It's the craziest thing. How it actually works technically, I have no idea. I'm just so grateful that I have it. So when I was 6 months old, this is what I got. My mother is very cute. She worked with Mark cleaning lady, and she made these little undershirts. And crazy enough as it sounds, this would sit on my back in a little pocket in an undershirt, and it would thread this through the shirt right here. And this is what I wore for the first bunch of years of my life. I also brought in this little picture that I'm sitting in there. It's just too cute. I think it's cute, but if you want to pass this around and see, this is just what it looked like. Thanks. That's just what it was like. And granted, it takes, a bunch of time and a bunch of years for someone so little to get implanted, because what happens next, once you get implanted, is you go in for this thing called maintenance, and you work with an audiologist. So I'll go in now, maybe every 5 months or so, I'm with an audiologist, and kind of like fine tuning the guitar. They're like, okay, how does this sound? Is it sharp? Is it quiet? Is it soft? And you just like play the levels, almost like what a DJ does on a booth, right? They have all these levels, they slide it. That's kind of like what I do. But when you're 6 months old, the audiologist is not asking the 6-month-old, how does this sound? Is it soft? Is it quiet? Is this too loud for you? They have no idea. So they kind of just guess, and they work with the kid as the years go on, and hopefully it just sounds good. So that is kind of
Well, your
that.
speech is excellent.
So that's
It
what I'm
is.
going to get to next.
It is.
So how many of you here know people who are hearing impaired?
I don't, and I regret that I don't.
Okay, so the hearing person, hearing impaired is what?
She's born deaf, but she can't use hearing aids because she's too old.
Okay, and
Same thing. No, but she has hearing aids. She has an implant.
okay, so and like since the beginning of time, or okay, so my speech is something that's very interesting. People who get hearing, their cochlear implant later in life, they have missed out on the early stages of language. When a baby is in utero, right, as weird as it sounds, that whole thing, they're like, babies can listen to music, right? And it's like, oh, you can play music for babies. They're already getting sound and like learning when they're in your mother's stomach. So for me and for my brother and for countless other people who are hearing impaired, we missed out on 9 months plus however much time till we got our devices turned on of language. So for me, it was very interesting is that once I got implanted, it takes like a couple of days also till they turn the device on, and you can watch videos. It's like very cute. You see the babies like spacing out, and all of a sudden they turn it on. They're like, oh my gosh.
Remember
There are
those
sounds.
videos?
It's so cute. I wish I had a video of myself because I think it's the cutest thing, but it's like, oh my gosh, like it's a whole new world. It's crazy. So when I got implanted, they turned it on. We worked with speech therapists and all these things, but the main thing the doctor told my parents was, okay, now that she's implanted, never shut up, literally. As like crazy as that sounds, like say everything. Like, okay, in the morning, hi, good morning. I'm waking up. I'm taking 5 steps over here. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna touch this light switch. Okay, now I'm gonna walk over here and like touch this TV. Everything they were doing, they were gonna speak, and that has really helped with my speech because I missed out on all the regular day-to-day things. So with that, and with speech therapy, I'm able to speak the way I am, which is a bracha, because this is the one thing that people do not understand, because also with my hair, it covers, and most people who meet me for the first time have no idea. I remember actually PTA here once, and this is Spring, I don't know if she's still here.
Yep.
Okay, so my mother was talking with her, and she's very sweet. She's always like, oh, how's she doing? Like, if she's hearing impaired, whatever, something like she's following. The son is like, what do you mean she's hearing impaired? She's like, oh, you didn't know?
I also
guess
didn't know.
granted, people would know. But
No, I have no idea.
Yeah.
It was not. It was not obvious, and then you
It's not
told me.
obvious, right?
It came up in class, obviously, because we were learning it.
Right. So when it comes up, but most people have no idea, and the way I speak is a big part of that, because some people are hearing impaired. I know, can I talk about TV or no? I guess I am.
Of course.
Okay, has anyone seen the show Switched Up Birth?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I actually never watched it. I was with somebody and she's like, oh, by the way, have you ever seen the show Switched Up Birth? It's kind of like, this girl who's hearing impaired and your speech is so good and hers is not. If you ever want to know what someone with a speech impediment with hearing loss sounds like, Switched Up Birth is a great example of that. Although the actress who plays her is not hearing impaired. She's hearing, which is very interesting.
If you've ever heard this actress also, Marlee Matlin, an older woman.
Okay.
She's also hearing impaired.
Say.
She's an actress, and so when she talks,
You
very
can hear
obvious.
it. So that's what's attributed to that. Okay, so let me go through some of these fun things here. So I've had this when I was 6 months old up until I think 5th grade, if I'm not mistaken. It has my name on the back for like camp purposes. That's what just fits money. My brother, I think I mentioned this. If not, he wears 2. I did mention. But this was the set that he got upgraded to. He wore that one, and then when he got his second one, I think he was in 2nd grade when he got his. And already by 2nd grade, they had went from that huge device to this teeny tiny one.
It's like cell phones.
Yeah, literally like cell phones. It just like gets smaller and smaller every year. And then he just told me yesterday, because we just found these, we were going through it, that he wore this one on Shabbos because it was cleaner. So that's this already. You should hear that. I've had his Shabbos glasses and like all these different things. We know someone that has Shabbos glasses.
Oh, okay.
The technology and the way they do things changed immensely.
Right.
So
Yeah.
then already once he was in 2nd grade, we got to this little thing right here, and this already has no wires, which is super nice. I will also mention having like a little backpack, that in the undershirt. You guys are probably familiar with getting your hair stuck in the little, silver
mhm,
things.
mhm.
For me, it was like if I leaned back too much, I'd press a button and then have to like go to the bathroom, like make sure it was like didn't change any of the settings or anything like that. So I was compared it to that. What else do I want to say about that? I'll come back to it if I think about it. But this was a huge change because this was already couldn't see anything, which is super nice. So that was that. And I'm not going to show you the one I have on because I'm wearing it and I don't want to mess up my hair. So already at this point,
Relatable.
it's much thinner, it's much smaller, it's much more compact. They also have this new one that's literally just a circle. It just sits over here and there's no wires even, which is really nice, but it's very thick. So Marta Shamlin, if it's shaped salon, it'd probably be really nice because then there's really nothing. I will also add, I'm human also, I am insecure about it sometimes. We were just at a wedding where I had my hair up and I forgot to mention it to the person, but she had done my hair. Here's a little bird sitting right here. She had done my hair up and she left it a little bit exposed. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's exposed. And then we were able to like move the hair around it. Generally speaking, it is not visible to the eye and people don't see it. Also, when I was in camp, I think when I was about 12 years old, they just announced this aqua thing that you can swim with it. It used to like never be able to like get wet. Could not get it wet. If you got it wet, it was like end all be all thing. Like my mom was scaring me about it. Just, don't get it wet. Don't get it wet. Like if it rained in camp, it was like the best day ever for me because I got to like choose someone to stay in the bunkhouse with me and didn't have to go to activity. Or I could like go to the office and like do mail, which is like a huge thing. You got your mail early. So those were always big days. But then they released this aqua pack and then the camp was like, sorry, too bad. Now you can go swimming, and like worry about the rain and all that. And do you remember Rachele Hartstein?
Yes.
Okay. So I was with Rachele Hartstein and she was so excited about it. She's like, you have to try it together. So we did it together and like going underwater was so super underwhelming. I just have to say, like I was expecting this like whole thing, like, hey, I can swim underwater. It's like,
Yeah, no.
okay, great. And Sarah knows, like, I literally do not stick my head underwater. So, like, get it wet. Like, I wear it above water. I don't care. Also nowadays with the technology, it can get wet. It's fine. So I will not go underwater just because putting it in the pack is just like too much. And I'm not such a big swimmer anyway. I do not care. So, and also my hair doesn't get wet. So there's also that plus. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I know this could be a question, which is interesting. Someone had once asked me, have you ever been bullied because of it? The answer is no, which is so interesting. When that person asked me that, I'm like, good question. Like I wouldn't have thought that like, having something like that would make people think indifferent. Especially, going through elementary school with a square on my back that you could probably see with the thin uniform shirts. But granted, Baruch Hashem, no one has really ever said anything.
You're not embarrassed about it because I had a student who she had the FM unit and I heard
Okay,
it,
so I'll say that.
and
So yeah,
she would forget it half the time. She was not.
she needed it.
She did need it, and
Okay.
she wouldn't acknowledge that she needed
So
it.
what that is the teacher or someone in a room will be doing like speaking. And I know it's on this one. I don't know what it looks like now, but I remember when I had this in Pure, my mom got that FM thing. Okay, so yeah, I had more Faye, and she would wear this, necklace that had a microphone on it. I'll also explain exactly how it works. I didn't touch on that. I would plug in like a receiver in here and she would wear a microphone and go straight to my ears. Oh, I have something to add to that too. But anyway, the way it works exactly is once you get implanted, on this part of the hook, oh my gosh, I don't think I broke it. It's fine. Okay. What happens is this top part over here is the microphone. The sound goes through and then it goes to the transmitter. The transmitter connects to the part in the brain, talks to the ear, produces the sound, and it's live. It's not like when you watch TV and the sound is lagging. Like everyone knows when the sound doesn't match the mouth, it's live sound. As you're talking, I'm hearing you. I also remember here in school, I was in Rabbi Feitman's class and the girl had asked, I don't think she realized that she asked this question. It was fine. It was interesting because I still remember. And she said, if someone is hearing impaired, are they allowed to answer Amen to a bracha? Because they're not actually hearing it. And I was like, okay, it's such an odd question. But he said, yes, they're allowed to answer Amen because they're hearing it live anyway. It's not like they're hearing it a second later or a second, too soon.
I've always wanted to know because I'm in Rebbe Brown Shul and it's Rosh Hashanah and they're blowing shofar.
Uh-huh.
And he always says, if you're wearing hearing aids, you have to take them out.
Okay.
Because you're supposed to hear the sound. But what if you're profoundly deaf and you can't
So
hear?
it is very interesting. Those who are hearing impaired and need to wear like hearing aids just to amplify the sound, they could hear it. The shofar is so loud.
Right.
Unless the shofar blower is
Right,
not
but-
great at his job,
Yeah.
then obviously, but generally speaking, it's a loud enough sound to like
Right.
sort of go through. But yeah, that's very interesting. So there was also this question back in the day, those who were hearing impaired weren't allowed to be in a minyan because they couldn't actually hear what was going on and answer the correct amens. Now with this advanced technology of what it is, We're just regular people going about our day. Another thing about Shabbos that's super interesting, I'm powered through batteries. My brother uses these rechargeable things. I'm allowed to change my batteries on Shabbos, but I have to do it with Shinoi. So during the week, I do it the way, I normally do it. On Shabbos, I use my pinky finger and my thumb to it's just a whole other step. And then recently I just discovered I could just do it Erev Shabbos and last me the entire Shabbos and not have to worry about it anyway. But you
just realized?
Yeah, literally I just realized that. I'm like, wait, I could just do that instead and I'll be less Machal Shabbos than I was before if I was being Machal Shabbos. Something else super interesting, the new devices are Bluetooth, which is really nice because you guys wear these crazy headphones that really produce sound super well and hear the quality. I get it streamed straight to my brain, so I'm hearing the exact sound of whatever the song is or whatever the show is playing, which is really nice. And I have real sound cancellation. I could turn it down to 0 and I could just hear the music at 100%, which is so nice. So what's that? Sorry,
You could just turn them off.
okay, that's another thing. Do not use it to my advantage ever. You should just know. I wake up in the morning, I put it on, I take it off when I go to sleep. I never I don't want to hear this and take it off or anything like that. I never do that. I know there are people that do because to them they're I have this special thing I can do. But I will never do that. I just want to be one with society in every way that I can. And I'm just going to endure whatever there is.
Commendable. I commend you for that.
Okay. You're clearly not that hard to say.
Apparently. Okay. Wow. So I think that's everything I wanted to mention off the top of my head. Does anyone write down any questions?
I see some girls who are writing questions.
Okay. So I'll take them up the front of here. Everyone wants to ask them out.
I think it's amazing how the technology has come so far. I remember being at what's his name? Gina de Luzar's.
Oh, sure. The doctor? Yeah.
So, right.
Ellie, right?
Son, Ellie
Yeah.
Lazar, they became a doctor. So I was at Ellie's bar mitzvah.
Okay.
He was one of the first to get a cochlear implant.
Yeah.
And so at his bar mitzvah, it was not a dry eye because it was such a niece that he was speaking.
Wow.
And he spoke,
Do you
could
know when
tell.
he got implanted?
Hmm?
Do you know when he got implanted?
No.
Okay.
No idea. It was such a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
He works with his father. Did you ever end up in a situation where you're oh my gosh, I have a story for you. Okay.
What was the whole question?
She said, did you ever end up in a situation where your battery died and you weren't changed it? It's a really good
Oh,
question.
no.
I just had this recently, actually, 7 months ago. I can interchange either with a rechargeable battery or disposable batteries. So, and for me, the battery part that you can put in the charger is a shorter, stubby piece. So if you wear your hair in a pony or anything, it doesn't really show as much. So I was using that. And if you use the rechargeables, you kind of wear away the battery, similar to a phone. As you use your phone, the battery gets less and less and less. So I was using it for a week and I was totally fine. I didn't have a spare. Our brother uses those and he carries spares with him all the time. So that's what he uses. I just used that one piece and okay, fine, it would last me the whole day. I work in the city. I work in Lower Manhattan by Battery. And my boss had no idea that I was hearing impaired. And we're in a meeting, and then I usually get a warning. It's 2 beeps. It's beep, beep. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And you can imagine heart palpitations. It's oh no. And then in my head, okay, crazy. I'm in a meeting also. Didn't die yet, but it was the warning. You have 30 minutes. It's a ticking time bomb. It's oh my gosh, I have 30 minutes. So I was okay, maybe I used an actual battery pack this morning. I'm going to check it to make sure, because I have spare batteries on me, but I don't have the rechargeable. So after the meeting was over, I dashed and I went to check and I'm oh my gosh, it's rechargeable. Called my mom. She's you have to go home right now. I'm okay, I will. And then my boss was in a meeting, so I couldn't just be hey, I have to beeline, I have to go. So I told my coworker super quickly, and she was oh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, run. She was super sweet about it. So I waved to my boss. She was in her office. I'm I'm going, and she was okay, whatever. And then it was a very interesting commute home because as I got on the subway, my subway ride is 20 minutes to the actual train station. It completely went out. Very, very interesting to have to then be super, super on because when one sense is off, for me, unfortunately, the stronger sense that took over, usually if someone has one sense that they're not good at, that another one takes over. For me, it's my sense of smell, unfortunately. I can smell anything from a mile, taste-wise also, because it's related. Thank God, I actually had headphones on me. So once it went out, I put my headphones on. So people knew I wasn't answering them or talking to them. At least I had some form of oh, she's listening to music, So I put the headphones on and I was super aware of my surroundings. I'm okay, who's around me? Who do I have to be aware of? Is anyone going to be talking to me? And on the train, usually I'm spacing out, scrolling through everything. I sat so focused on the train because they to check your ticket. And I usually like, okay, I'm looking at something, hey, tickets, okay, here's a ticket. This time it's like, hey, I don't know where, and usually you hear the clicks also coming. That's also an indicator, the command's coming. So I was super focused, and then I like finally got home. I like changed the battery, and then I told my boss, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea. Don't worry about it." But in a way, it was a good thing that it happened because now everyone is aware, and they're aware that I'm doing this today, and they're like super excited that I'm doing it. So that was one situation that happened. But I usually have like a battery every single pocket, like every purse, every coat pocket, everything.
Backups of the
batteries. Yeah, as backup. I feel like there's something else I wanted to add.
What do you do
When what?
for jobs?
What do I do?
What's your career?
Oh, I'm a digital editor for Jewish Action magazine.
Just cool.
Yeah.
No, actually not.
Yeah, so anything digitally related to a magazine, like design, layouts, marketing, print. That's what I actually do. And I work in
Is it fun?
It's really fun. It's really fun. Something else I wanted to add to the battery thing, which is really interesting. It's 2 little circle batteries that are like this big, and I leave them everywhere. Like, you'll know if I was in your house, because my friends will text me if I go to their house in Thomas, and they're like, "You left this. What can I do with it?" Because they're so scared of it. It's like a tiny little battery. I'm like, "Is it gonna explode?" I'm like, "No, you can throw it out. It's fine." I also have these little peely stickers on top to like protect it or something. And those are also literally everywhere. You can tell if I was in a spot because like, oh, those are the blue stickers from her battery. I call it my glitter because I just like leave it everywhere. Anyway, that was a really good question. Thanks for asking that. Now, do you have a favorite music genre? I do. I actually listen to music a lot. Sarah would disagree, but we do not have the same music taste. I like the regular, go with the flow, pop music, whatever comes out, I like. I like bad music. Yeah, I like that. I like bad music. I'll just put it that way. Also happens to be a favorite, so I do listen to music. People also ask that. They're like, "Hey, can you I can't play an instrument. It's very hard to figure out, certain sounds. I've tried in the past. It didn't necessarily work, but I do listen to music and I can keep up with the lyrics and the sounds and everything like that."
That's awesome.
Recently, actually, somebody was telling me, this is the guy, it's very hard for him to keep up in shul. I'm pretty sure his story was he was hearing and then he became hearing impaired. For him, it's very hard to sing along in school because he doesn't know what they're up to and then the wave of voices. Anyone else?
It's a normal question.
Are your implants connected to your phone? They are. There is an app. That was also a really good question. It's called Nucleus Smart. And it just connects everything that I could do manually on here. There are buttons. There are 2 buttons on there. I can go.
She could look like she's really talking to herself.
Oh, I have another story. Okay, so it's connected to an app on my phone. And it's also, I can take phone calls straight to this, which means I could be holding my phone here and then just talking out in the open without wearing anything in my ear. So everyone's just like, "Hey, so who are you talking to?" And I realized this was an issue in seminary because I've just been wandering around. My phone is here. Why should it be connected to my ear or anything? I can't use AirPods, by the way, fun fact, because obviously nothing's working in here. And I hung up on whoever I was on the phone with. And someone goes, "Are you talking to yourself?" I was like, "No, I'm on the phone." She's like, "How?" And I was like, "Oh, and this was in beginning stage." I'm like, "Oh, I'm hearing impaired." And she's like, "Oh, that's so cool, whatever." And I was like, "Wait, it's actually so socially off." So I went with a bunch of friends to a little shop in Israel, and we got a pair of earbuds, and I just cut off the wires. They look very close to AirPods. I cut off the wires, and I just carried them in my bag. They're teeny tiny fake.
So it's
AirPods,
just
to have an indicator that the phone's over here, but I am actually on the phone talking to someone. This guy's really funny. Another thing the app does, which is very cool, and I think I remember this from your class, the concept of it, the cocktail party effect.
Cocktail party effect.
That's a huge thing.
Look, she
So what that is, a refresher, is that when you're in a party and you're talking to someone, your hearing focuses to the people who are around you, and it kind of drowns out everything that's around you that you don't need to worry about. For me, I don't have that. Sound is sound. It doesn't, in next time, maybe, technology will figure out how to do that. But for now, there's a manual switch. So if I'm at a restaurant or I'm at a wedding, I'll put on this it's like a little toggle. It's called forward focus or something. And what it does, it mimics the cocktail party effect. So I'll switch that on, and then whoever's near me I can hear them really well. So sometimes at weddings, when music is super loud, and then if people are, talking to me, and then I'm answering them, and they're like, "Wow, how do you hear better than I am right now?" This little
yeah, because it's impossible to hear people at weddings.
It really is.
It's so loud.
Right. So sometimes I'm not alone with anybody because they're like, "I'm it's so loud in here." Just me, they're like, "No, it's actually really loud in here." So yeah.
Well, if you have the cocktail app,
yes,
switch. The settings switched on. If someone's in at a wedding and they're across the room, what do you hear them screaming?
Across the room screaming my name?
Yeah.
I don't think any of you would hear them.
Yeah.
To be completely honest. I'll use it at restaurants also, like anyone at the table. Like personally for me also, Sarah will know this, I have a preferred side that I like to walk on and then table that I like to sit on. For me, I'm implanted on my right side, so I like to walk on people's left side because it's just easier for me. Or if I'm at work also, I actually sit in the bullpens, which means that like if anyone's seen The Office, you see how they sit. It's like, you know, a wall this way and then my ear is exposed to like everyone around here. So in a way that really worked out. I didn't get to choose that. And at restaurants, I like to sit all the way to the left side of the table so that I can hear everyone on my right and surrounding.
When sounds are really loud, do you feel them?
So it's like the best way to phrase this would be, can I kick your desk? Okay, like let's see if that, yeah. So that I just felt. I don't know if anyone felt that.
What if it's not attached to your body? What if it doesn't conduct through your body?
Oh, I have a great example.
Oh my gosh.
This is like exposing our family-ish a little bit. We have a gym in our garage.
Oh,
okay.
nice.
That gets used very often, and there's like barbells in there, right? Like full weights, plates, all those different things, and it gets used all the time. I'll be upstairs in my room, ready for bed, not hearing any blood. Someone will be doing, come over. Like someone doing like a squat or a deadlift or something, will drop it. I'll feel it from upstairs. Like you'll probably hear like, oh, someone dropped the weight. It was a huge sound. Our mom is like scared of huge sounds. Don't have that big sound. But to me, it's like a feeling. Like I'll be upstairs, someone's dropping a
She
weight.
feels the vibration.
I feel the vibration. The whole house like yes. I'll feel it.
It's like really loud music. It's like
I'll feel what you feel. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like when you
feel
pull
it in
up
your chest.
next to that big black Escalade that's blasting the
Yeah,
music.
exactly.
or that.
You feel it in your chest.
I'll feel it. I'll literally feel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The same way.
What about big black Escalade?
Get with them and things like that. If they
Right.
don't,
So they have like music classes for like completely deaf people, and they hold a balloon, and then someone like plays music, and they can feel the music. Yes.
Wow. You were younger. Was it like, did people like know?
No.
Because now like
That's why I'm
like,
so happy that I'm doing this today, because it's the first time I'm actually publicly sharing with like multiple amounts of people. So thank you.
Thank you.
We've been trying to do this for a while.
Yes, we have.
Well, like when you were in school, like did you?
Those who need me knew, obviously. People, you know, there's random people in their grade that you just like talk to, not necessarily friends with. Those types of people had no idea.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is really interesting. Most people did not know unless I
You
told them.
just randomly mentioned it one day.
They're probably talking about hearing. She goes to tag or not, but she also has a cochlear implant, and she's very cute about it. I don't know her personally, but she wears it like on top of her hair, and she'll like bedazzle it with like gemstones, which is actually really
Out
cute.
and proud.
Yeah, exactly. In a different way, but yeah, she's loud and proud. So, she'll like bedazzle hers, and like people obviously know because she wears it like outside. The way these also come in different colors. Like you can customize these. Like they come in all white. You can get this and like whatever. My mom did this to like blend in with like our hair and our skin, so it's not like so obvious.
Do you think you're a better lip reader? You lip
It
reader?
depends. Some people are terrible speakers.
Some people are can't read lips.
Know how to speak.
Some people are like,
I cannot read Sarah's lips. Not an issue.
I
It's
guess
just
I'm a
the way
bad
she speaks.
talker.
I don't know if anyone's ever heard of the show Electric Company.
Oh.
Okay, it's like an old show from yeah. But they would
From
do,
my
like,
time. How do you know that?
like kind of brought it back-ish.
Oh, really?
Between 2000 and 2010. And they would like do like phonics, like a reading kind of show. And they would have kind of pronounce certain words, and they would like have a lips sort of saying certain words. So I guess when you're in speech therapy, they kind of like teach you how to properly speak and like how to look for certain ways in sound. Like the word M and B when you speak looks the same. So I have a funny story also. I was just in Universal with my cousin, and we were like, hey, Universal has such crazy wait times. Like, what if I just, this is the one time I like use it to my advantage. What if we just went to guest services and like said, I can't hear anything, tell me down the lines, whatever. Let's see what they say. So we went to guest services. And I was playing dumb, obviously. I was like, hi, like, I'm hearing impaired. So sorry that we can't do that. We did not get the bath pass. But anyway, when people hear that you're impaired, they're like, what are you doing?
I don't know. They like
walked to her like he was
Right.
mentally retarded.
Exactly. That's usually, like, sometimes I don't wear it in the shower, right? I don't wear it when I'm in the shower because I can't get that wet. So sometimes when like on vacation and like, I'm around, I'm just gonna like bring it with me into the bathroom. So when I finish my shower, I come out of the bathroom hearing, obviously. When I'm at home, I don't do that because I'm just gonna go straight to sleep. So sometimes I'll, my mom or like other people aren't aware of that. So I'll come out of the bathroom and they're like, and I'm like, I can hear you. Like, okay, don't do that. It's funny. Yes.
You sign.
I don't. Actually, did
She
not
doesn't need to.
Well, I mean, you said you were implanted at like 6 months, right?
So she doesn't
yeah,
need to.
There are some people who are hearing that still know it anyway, but I didn't need to know it. So.
Oh my gosh, Sarah. I mean, not Sarah. I just like Rachele. This
Yeah.
was amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We should do the second year.